We're starting.
Oh, we've already started. Yeah, episode 2. We're doing
this
again. Wow.
Only 1 week later. I'm proud of us.
Yeah, we've got it together.
And we've got a name now too.
Oh, that's right. Not just a podcast.
We are a Millcast.
Get it? Millcast.
So the junction fiber
Millcast. Yeah, we're just beyond clever.
Yeah.
So this past weekend,
yeah,
we were doing very different things.
Okay.
What were you up to?
I'll start. I was selling our yarn at Honeyfield Farm in Norwich, Vermont. Same town where the farmers market is. Honeyfield, they share. They're also vendors at the Norwich Farmers Market, so we've gotten to know them, and they invited us to their maker market on Saturday at their greenhouses. So I woke up and it was absolutely pouring rain.
Yeah,
but
it was tough.
And so I was thinking, greenhouse sounds great. By the time I got there, the sun was shining, and I had worn a tank top. I was prepared, but it felt like summer in those greenhouses.
Did it get really warm?
It was so warm. But then they rolled up the sides, and the clouds came over.
Okay.
And it was passable, but it felt like a little taste of summer. And everyone was saying, "Are you going to be at the Thanksgiving market for the Norwich Farmers Market next week?" Which we're not. And I was thinking, but like the reason we didn't want to do that was it's going to be so cold out.
Yeah.
And then everyone was talking about it being 17 degrees next weekend, and I was feeling...
Well, and it was cold this morning.
Yes, it was, finally.
The weekend was balmy, and then bam, this morning it was pretty darn cold. Well, while you were getting toasty warm in a greenhouse, Todd and I were dealing with our flock. We have begun our breeding season, so we have 2 rams, and it takes a little coordinating to take our flock of ewes, divide them into 2 groups, that are going to be bred, and then we have the peanut gallery, which are this year's lambs, which we don't breed, and the older ladies, and then you got to get the one ram over to the other, and you just have to say this is going to take time. They don't come when you call, but we got it done. It was relatively smooth. Yeah. So breeding has begun.
Off to the races.
Off to the races. It's a 5-month gestation period, so around April 8th. The lambs will be arriving. It's very exciting. This will be our 11th season of breeding. So it was good.
That's
it was good.
Exciting.
Yeah.
What's
so
next?
you had you were at the Honeyfields, and then next is our open house.
Yeah. So we have an exciting weekend planned. We're doing an open house on Friday and Saturday. We're doing Friday night from 4 to 6 here at the mill. It's going to be festive. We're going to have a little wine.
Yeah.
Maybe some light snacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Saturday from 10 to noon. Now, what makes these different from retail hours?
Well, in part, we love it when people can come into the mill and actually see the equipment. What we can't do is have the equipment running when people come because it's not safe and it's also wildly noisy. But we will try and have each of the pieces of equipment sort of frozen in time doing their thing so that you'll really get a sense of, oh, this is what the picker does. Oh, this is what the carter does. This is what the can coiler. Yeah, so that should be fun. And we will also bring our little showroom out from back and have it a little nicer display.
Yeah, it'll be set up probably somewhere right behind us. You can come shop all of our yarns. This is likely... We don't know if we're going to do another one of these before Christmas, so this is really a good chance to come in and get your holiday shopping done.
Yeah, and we'd love to see you.
Yeah.
So come on by Friday for a little wine and yarn, and on Saturday it's something festive, donuts and yarn.
Yeah.
So
do you know what I love when people do? They show up in what they've knit with our yarn since we saw them last.
Yeah,
so if you knit something,
absolutely.
we'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great to see it in person. We've had a couple of people come in and it's like blows your mind. That was clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's a great idea. Meanwhile, we've had a very busy week at the mill.
It's always busy at the mill.
We really have been cranking. You want to go through some of the things we've been up to?
Yeah, so I've got our basket of yarn to show for ourselves. We'll talk about what we've made for making tracks and our yarn first. So this is the second go at our colorway leaf peeping, which is sort of a take on Vermont fall foliage. And so the foliage is down from the leaves, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy those colors in your yarn.
Absolutely.
So that's that one. This one was our little happy accident from last time, but people like it. So this is called Sea Glass, and it is actually, so sometimes in our making tracks, both of the plies are like 2 different completely different dyes. So one might be like heavy on the blues and one might be heavy on the reds, and then they come together. Both plies are the same, and it's created from one of the plies that goes into its sister yarn.
Right.
Sea Coast. So Sea Glass is just a little bit more turquoisey.
Yep.
Kind of looks like mermaidish. It's a lovely one. We've got more of that in the shop
Yeah,
now.
it's been very popular.
And then
But talk about popular.
This one.
Yeah, so
you should talk about
this is late October, and this was one of the very first colors we did, and I cannot really tell you why I did the colors that we did, but also let me say, the first time we make it, especially me, my notes are terrible, because as I'm doing it, I'm going, maybe I should add a little more of this, a little more of that, and then of course when you're finished, you go, well, what did I add exactly? But I've absolutely nailed down late October, and if you've seen our cowl, that's done in the late October.
Yeah, I'll link that in the show notes.
Yeah, it knits up very different from what it looks like in the skein. In fact, all of Making Tracks does. So you just have to knit with it to experiment. But yeah, that's late October.
And then we've got some custom processing
there's
goodies
some
to show off.
Yummy.
Yeah, so these are all for one customer, and I think she's going to be really excited about them. So this one is, let's see, it is a Shetland Dorset mix. This is spun 2-ply light at about 1,050 yards per pound.
Yeah.
Let me just show this. It's nice and white. It's very spongy.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, and then this one's actually still just drying. This is a Cormo Cross.
And this is what we were looking at last week. If you saw the first podcast, I held up some wool that had been scoured, but we hadn't picked it, it hadn't been processed, and it looked like it had a couple of different kinds of gray. That's what this has spun into, and it's really lovely. Yeah, it's got a lot of bounce to it, and this one, because of that Cormo was the roving was really thick, so we actually had to pin draft this one a third time, which we occasionally do just to get the roving light enough to be drafted properly and make super even yarn when it's spun. But it was spun at about 1,100 yards per pound, which makes this also a 2-ply light. But this is looking definitely like DK weight, I would say. Yeah, with all that bounce. Yeah. And then lastly, this one is the Taj Mahal. I'm sorry you can't feel this. First of all, this is 3-ply. 3-ply is Cadillac. We love 3-ply. So the big difference between 2-ply versus 3, it's going to be round, and so if you're doing cable work or anything that you want it to pop, it's a real treat to go for the 3-ply. And I'm sorry you can't feel this. It's so yummy. This is a Merino Romney cross, and the Merino's giving it the softness and the bounce. And oh, by the way, there's some Romney in it. This is 800 yards per pound. I almost want to say to this woman, can I buy back some of your skeins? I'd love to knit with this. Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun spinning. Yeah. It's tough when you fall in love with a customer's product. Yeah. But you do. That's all right. Yeah. And you actually have something that you spun this afternoon too. Right. I did a Making Tracks. Sorry. So this doesn't look like much, but so what I've done is the singles. So 5 pounds of this, 5 pounds of that. You can see a little bit of set up on the spinner in the back. After this Millcast, we'll ply these two together. And it'll be what color? Oh, it's Valley Fog, which is very pale. It's very neutral because, obviously, like you look at the leaf peepee. A lot of our colors are super saturated, really bright, but we also know that there are those folks who kind of want something a little more mellow, and Valley Fog definitely hits that, and it's really lovely. Just to give you a sense of time frame, though, it takes about an hour to do this single, another hour to do this single, and it'll take about 2.5 hours to ply these together. So we're talking at least half a day to do one yarn. Yeah, it takes time. But anyway, it's going to be gorgeous. Yeah, I think this will turn out maybe a little bit darker than the first Valley Fog. We'll see. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. And then I just wanted to show off. Oh gosh, yes. This too. So, let's see, I don't want to talk. That's my chair making noise because I have a riser. Because in the first video cast, I looked like I was a midget. So I'm propped up a little bit on a noisy chair. Okay. Oh, you got the knot? Open. No, I can never get these knots open.
Okay, so we decided that we're gonna start doing bigger runs of solid colors.
Oh, look
and
at
that
this.
the best way to do that would be to dye it before it's processed.
Right.
So what that does is, you know, sometimes when you dye a finished skein, you get a little bit of pooling and...
Well, it's a challenge. You have to work really hard.
Yeah, so this is a color that I brought to the Fiber Festival of New England last weekend before this one.
Yeah.
This color completely sold out like right away. So I said we need to make some more of this. So we're gonna do an 11 or 10 pound batch of this solid color, and then we're hoping to build out this line of farm fresh colors. And then when we have more of them, we'll actually be able to offer them through our website. Right now, we've just been selling our solids at the mill for special occasions, but check this out. Isn't that a gorgeous green?
And part of it, the reason to do it is that people like the making tracks, but they're sort of like, what do I do with it? Well, by having some solid colors, I mean, just look at this next to it. I'll tell you, I also think looking that next to it, because this has got
you know, I think somebody at the Fiber Festival actually bought the green and paired it with this. So
yeah, this is, and you know what else is kind of fun to always experiment. We hadn't really nailed doing a solid color.
Yeah.
I've done heathering, which we've talked about before, but this is saying, okay, can we do a solid, and what do you have to do to dye it to get it to the color you thought you wanted?
Well, and speaking of, do you want to just pull it?
Oh, well, yeah, the next color we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So heading into the picker soon.
Heading into the picker is this blue. Here, let me just pull it apart.
So you can kind of see what it's like when it's just, when we talk about dyeing loose wool.
Yeah, so this is scoured, you know, washed it twice, rinsed it.
Yep, and this is a Montadale
same as the green
blend.
Yes, exactly. And when you look at the color, you go, well, it doesn't look very solid. Well, that's okay, because by the time it goes through the picker, the carder, and then pin drafted twice, it'll all start blending together. And this will, like the green, should be a fabulous solid blue.
Yeah.
That again is going to look great with, yeah, fun. And we've already got the next two colors teed up, so
great.
Yeah, a lot of fun. All right. My noisy chair again. Okay. So what next?
Tote bags?
Yeah, tote bags.
So we have had some requests from some of you lovely customers that we should have some more swag. We have hats, but finally I got around to putting together a tote bag design. It's going to be very simple, just our logo, but we're really excited because we found a local company.
Hey, come on, be honest, you found it, what a great find.
Yeah, it's a wonderful find. They're called Enviro Totes, and they're out of Londonderry, New Hampshire. And it was so cool to find another company that is making something in our area that we could sort of collaborate with and get this product to offer to you. But
yeah, so, just to be clear, they're not just stamping something.
No, they're taking bolts of cotton fabric. They've got these giant cutting machines. They've got a huge team of people working from them by the looks of it. I'd love to go down and tour their facility sometime, but especially coming from ourselves making something here, it's really cool to see and be able to work with another company doing that locally. So we've got these really cool totes. They are rushing them so that they'll be ready in time for Christmas, and we'll keep you posted on them, but expect more on that soon.
Yeah, but not November.
Not in time for Black Friday, but should be like first weekend of December. So we will let you know right away, but you could, you know, sort of pencil that in as a gift idea too. They're going to be really nice, thick market totes.
Nice. We thought we'd give something a try, and on this second podcast, this is when we'll give it a try. We thought it would be interesting for you to see what actually goes on in the mill at each of the different steps. So in each of our podcasts, we'll take on one of the steps, if you will. And Amanda earlier today took us to our first stop.
Yeah. And
we're going to take a look at our first stop. We'll let the video tell the story.
All right. So this is our skirting table over here. This is sort of the first step of the process. We've got some raw fleece here. This is a mix of Montadale and Cheviot wool. We've loaded up about 5 pounds into this laundry bag, and now I'm going to put it into the sinks for scouring. So we have basically 4 stainless steel industrial sinks that water on demand, 185 degrees, which is really crucial to clean all of the lanolin and dirt off of the fleece and make it clean enough to go through our equipment. We also have this handy dandy hoist system here. This saves our backs. So what I'm going to do with the 5 pounds, I can just toss it in the water, but just to demonstrate how the hoist works. So now we've got our lightweight bag of fleece now, not so lightweight after after it's all soaking wet. I'm going to lower it into the water. And then, hold please. I'm going to grab one of our industrial potato mashers just to sort of work in the water. Now, a lot of people might wonder, what about felting? Doesn't agitating the wool lead to felting? Well, with this up and down motion, we're avoiding the sort of agitation that leads to felting, so it just sort of helps to get the fleece very clean. So the process of scouring goes, fill the sink up with super hot water, 185 degrees. We use a detergent called Eco Scour, and then we allow the bags to sit in the water for 20 minutes at a time, sort of getting washed in that detergent. We hoist the bags up, let them drip out. We do a second wash, same thing, 20 minutes later, lift the bags up, and then we do 2 or 3 rinse cycles just with hot water, no detergent. And then when we're done with that, they go into our regular old washing machine here on the spin cycle. And that just helps to extract the water out of it. We don't add detergent or anything at this step. It's simply to do the spin out. And then they go from here onto racks in the back, and they're dried the next day and ready to process.
That was nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm up next then.
Yeah.
You were a very good guinea pig.
The magic of television here. Okay.
We like that. So that's the scouring process. I wanted to stick in with the theme of what goes on in the mill. This is a gadget we have been using since day one.
Oh, it's a roll sprint. The name just came to me.
A roll sprint.
Uh-huh.
So this is turning around fast, and it has kind of a plastic tip, and we use it to clean out fiber, so as it spins, fiber grabs hold of it. It also can help us if we have fiber that jams. Well, earlier in the week, last week, we got a massive jam in the can coiler. Nobody got hurt, none of the equipment was damaged, but this was not getting it done. And it basically came to a standstill because we had to get the fiber out, but it was tucked up inside the can coiler. And I'm like, how are we gonna get this out? And I thought, wait a second, I think I know. So I called my friend Sally. Sally is a retired VA emergency room nurse. And I said, Sally, I know you used to have medical clamps. Any chance you've got any medical clamps? She was fabulous. She goes, well, you know, I think Dave kept a couple in his tackling box for fishing. I said, do you think I could come over and, buy one from you? So I show up at her house. She hands me, she's got a fistful. And she goes, which one would you want? And I said, I want the longest one you've got. So we have a medical clamp. They're actually called, I believe, Kelly forceps. I don't even want to imagine why they're called that. But they open up, they were able to go all the way up into the can coiler, snag what was stuck, pulled it out, we were off to the races.
Precision operation.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to end up finding a lot of other uses for this. So we have a drawer of just things that we need around the mill to work with the equipment, and this has been added to the drawer.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good on you going out and finding.
We had to solve the problem, and she was terrific. So
yeah.
Sally was really, really
Sally.
great. Yeah, thank you, Sally. What's next?
What are we knitting?
I have to show you the finish. I showed you this last week, but I hadn't done the sleeves or the collar, so I did want to show it to you all finished. This is from the Trail Mix. This heathered yarn made from North Country Cheviot from a farm in Norwich. And I had never done the collar where
Ooh, yeah, this is nice.
Right, I think I did one too many rows. So I have the ribbing on the outside, but then I did a row of purl to kind of give you the fold, and then I just did knitting on the inside,
you sew it.
and then I just whipped it down.
Yeah, I like that.
I think a number of patterns will have that. I did not do it on the sleeves because I didn't think it called for it. And as I said last week, this is kind of riffing on a petite knits, but you know, it didn't say what, I just made up what I was going to do here, because it was supposed to be a whole sweater, but I was too lazy because I just wanted a sample of trail mix knit up.
It looks fabulous.
I
need
really,
to see a small kid in this now.
I think my grandson.
Great.
I think I've got to get my grandson in. All right. And
Okay.
what have you got?
This has been a project I've been working on for a while. Let me just pull apart the pattern so I can tell you what the name. I know the name is, but I can't remember what the.
Oh my God! How many
designer is.
pages?
It's
Oh!
a lot. This is we've talked about this is like
Yes!
before Maeve was born.
Yeah,
I'm still working on it. Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to link in the show notes who's the designer, but it's called Sweater Number 8.
Sweater number 8. Yikes!
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
And it is just
Oh
a big rib monster.
Wow!
So
Holy
it is
mackerel.
knit out of a 3-ply yarn spun out of my sheep and a little bit of Peggy sheep's wool, Corriedale. The 3-ply I think really makes the rib pop. I'm hoping it fits.
Okay, let's be clear. This is going to be one hell of a warm sweater.
Yeah, it is like, it's got a lot of stretch.
You knit, this was neck down.
Neck down, and what's really cool about this pattern, I don't know if you can see, there's this really interesting way that the increases are done, where you get these two sort of ribs down the increases for the
Right.
shoulders. So it's really geometric. I'm almost there. I think the pattern has me stop here, but then I turned it, you know, I put it on.
And you wanted a little more?
Yeah, so I'm just continuing the body a little further, and then I've got to do the sleeves.
Yeah, how's it going to end at the bottom?
I think it's just probably cast off in
Oh, so
ribbing.
the ribbing just keeps going all the way down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the sleeves,
Wow.
similarly, they're just like vertical ribs all the way
Right.
down. So this is a pretty, you know, like
What size needles are you doing that on?
6s.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is spectacular.
yeah, thank you. I don't know when it's gonna get done because now the kiddo is like, I feel like she's gonna outgrow her sweater, and then I gotta keep up with it and do the next. So I keep putting this on pause to keep my child warm.
I hear you. I'm working on a sweater that's been, well, I think it's really hard when you spend the whole day with fiber
Yeah.
to then go home and start knitting.
The winter's better. The winter's a lot better. So I feel like it's not only that, it's you spend the whole day making fiber here, and then you go home and you have to tend to your fiber animals.
Yeah, there's that.
And then what time is there left for knitting? Not a ton.
knitting. Yeah, not a lot. I did a lot on this weekend though.
Yeah.
I made great progress on a sweater that I hopefully will have ready to show at the next podcast. Next
Okay.
Millcast, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we're knitting.
All
Any
right.
other news?
I don't think so. I think we're a little shorter this time, but
That's okay.
yeah.
So we'll see you for Millcast number 3.
And hopefully sooner if you come to the open house.
Oh gosh, please do.
Yeah.
We would love to see you.
We're gonna try to remember to take some videos so we can see what went on there next week.
And Amanda was right. If you've knit with any of our yarn, bring it down to the open house.
Or if
We'd
you're
love
not,
to see it.
yeah, if you're not local, we'd love to see pictures.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so send us those to hello@junctionfibermill.com.
Excellent.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.